Folks, welcome to the 5th edition of our SALDiscussion. And of course, today we have our co-founder Felix with me to discuss the importance of community. So let's give him a warm welcome and let's get the ball rolling. I will hand the mic over to Felix to perform some introductions and to get the main topics of discussion underway. Oh, look at that, chat is absolutely exploding.
Yeah. Hey, hi guys. Well, thanks, bro, for bringing me on for this SALDiscussion number 5. I'm sorry I couldn't join the earlier sessions, but I've been really looking forward to join this session because for once I finally get to interact with our community live on our own Discord. But yeah, so my name is Felix. I'm the co-founder and project lead at SALD Ventures, together with my buddy of many years, Captain Aqua, aka Wesley. We started SALD 2.5 years ago, and the main driver for us to start SALD is really to make a positive impact in this space, in the space of Web3. Because as we all know, if you've been around long enough, there's just so much FUD around, around people, around projects, or whether they are token projects or NFT projects or hybrid of both like us. There is just so much negativity in this space. And one thing that we saw earlier, if you can remember, is that it seems like in this Web3 space, only people with money can make money. Remember, and then when we saw the Axie Infinity days, when we saw the Guild days, that was sort of what inspired us to say, look, we can do this better. We can grow something much bigger. We can impact more people around the world, and that's
Absolutely.
sort of what drove us to start SALD in the first place.
Phenomenal stuff. And again, with all the fam gathered here today, they have had a lot of discussion with us in regards to how to go about fully participating within the airdrop campaign, how to fully understand the gem ecosystem a little bit better. There has been a lot of conversation in regards to our upcoming token launch, which has been getting a lot of buzz, obviously. But I think what many have been told in regards to today's discussion is, again, the importance of what is it that we are all doing as a collective group, as a community, and how important it is going to be for us to pull through together to shape the future of SALD, and also with all the different developments and partnerships that we are planning for the community as well. So I think on that note, Felix, if you want to just get the ball rolling in regards to some of the key topics that you might want to highlight during this discussion, some of the developments that might have taken place recently, some of the insights that you want to share with the community as well. And then from there, we can actually branch out to potentially some questions within the main stage chat channel. But if not, if we can go on over to some of the other standard questions, don't worry, we'll take those towards the later half of the session, because Felix has another appointment to run to. But of course, we are absolutely delighted to have him here, just again to give us that update from his project lead perspective and how important it is for us to build together as a community.
Yeah, the main topic that I wanted to talk about today on this AMA is really about community. It's really about the importance of community, but at the same time about how fragile a community can be. I think on our walk last Friday, or on our hike last Friday, our team hike last Friday, for those of you in the audience who don't know, small little trivia here, the SALD team does almost like a 8-kilometer hike every Friday as a team in order to keep ourselves sane and to bond ourselves as a team. And during our last hike, I recall us discussing about the importance of community and how strongly our community has rallied around us. And again, it's not exclusive to just SALD, but at the same time, there's also a lot of discussions on crypto Twitter about probably the world's biggest NFT marketplace now, which is Blur. And I remember when Blur launched, or just before Blur launched, everyone was really performing a lot of activities, doing a lot of stuff, being very active, being very connected with the Blur platform or the Blur marketplace. But the main purpose, the main intent there was really just to farm free Blur airdrop tokens. And that went reasonably well, or relatively well, compared to the other airdrops that happened before them. But recently, as the prices of NFTs started falling quite drastically, quite dramatically, then I've seen a lot of posts online on Twitter about the about Blur causing the fall of NFT prices, and that was honestly quite shocking for me because it's it's like the community that built the protocol turned on the protocol itself because the overall NFT market has been affected, and there's so many macro events that has happened that has caused NFT prices to drop. So my point is that I think community is really a double-edged sword, and the way we build it, the way we grow it needs to be done properly. It needs to be curated, and we need to try as much as possible to ensure that people who are here within the Salad community are here with their best intentions, which is sort of reflected really in what happened recently to Salad. So for those of you who don't know, our main Salad Ventures Twitter account, which is a verified organization, which means we had the gold checkmark. Well, technically we still have the gold checkmark. So our Twitter account, our official Twitter account @Salad Ventures, has recently been suspended by Twitter for absolutely no reason. It's not like we're doing anything different over the last week or so. We've been effectively just doing the same, updating our community, updating our followers with the new partnerships. So those of you may recall, on a daily basis, on average, we sign one new ecosystem partner to join our seller ecosystem every day. And on a daily basis, we announce these new partnerships with other projects. Many of them are GameFi projects on our Twitter. And we've recently obviously been announcing quite a bit about our airdrop campaign. So to be honest, I don't know what happened there, but we're working with our account manager at Twitter to sort that one out. I believe it will be sorted out very soon. But what's positive that's come out of it is we have seen a few accounts pretending to be, to represent Salad. And many members of our community actually stepped up and started to debunk those accounts. They started to warn the rest of the people within our community, and to me that's very encouraging. It's very heartwarming. It shows to me that the people within the Salad Ventures community is not just not just here for free stuff, right? It's really they're really thinking for the entire team, for the entire project, knowing that just simply coming in, farming for airdrops, asking when launch, so that they can you can sort of dump on the token is it's something that everybody has been through before. We all know the cycle. Obviously, the team at Salad also knows that cycle as well. But it's quite heartwarming for me personally to see so much activity on our Discord, whether it is in our general channel or our various country channels, and honestly, I'm also very appreciative and very touched to see our inner circle members contribute so much to our Discord community, and to educate people with questions, and also to, of course, translate whatever we've posted in English into the various languages. So I think that's really what I've come to share. I mean, I see Pink Water, I see Lee, I see C4, obviously, Rover. There's so many. Gonzalez, who apparently works in a wine. Did he say winery? No, he said a wine.
Oh yeah, he did. He mentioned that he was actually in the vineyard. Yeah.
And he gets on. It's just nice for us to know who is in our community, especially the ones who has been super active and who has been contributing the most. It reminds me of our XC days, of our guild days, don't you think? Where we had hundreds,
Absolutely.
and then over 1,000, then 2,000 scholars during those days, and yet we still knew most of them, especially those who were most active and who were contributing to the team.
Yeah, precisely. And I think what is really quite amazing about this community, as you mentioned, Felix, is that we have a lot of individuals here who are, again, contributing to the vision and the mission that is Salad. And they are really going out of their way to do so because they believe in what it is that we are building, and they want to help this be articulated to the masses as well, which is so important because, again, we've been highlighting to them on a regular basis at these Salad discussions that right now every member, every contributor is playing a part in shaping the future of Salad and, of course, the Salad token. And I think, of course, as we branch out to other topics later on in this discussion, and of course, do let me know when you need to hop off for that next appointment. But I think one of the recent questions within the main stage chat channel just really highlights again how the contribution from the community can also continue to help benefit the entire ecosystem in the long run, right? We have Yellow Turtle, Riza Khan, for example, asking about our own marketplace where we can in fact list our own seller NFTs. And I know that this has been a topic that has been brought up very regularly during our team meetings, and it's just one of the components that we want to build on and will be fueled by the launch of the Salad token. All right. So is there anything in particular that you might want to add in regards to all the extra building that we want to do, and how all this contribution is in fact going to play a very, very huge role in how we put all these pieces together to create that X to earn ecosystem for all?
Yeah, I've been looking at the comments as well, and I see Yellow Turtle asking about the potentially our own salad and marketplace, salad market, the pun, and and I think it's a really relevant question, and it's a good question, especially pertaining to the concept of an ecosystem. So we've been in the space for quite a while, and many projects, especially during the bull season, tend to tout themselves and market themselves or present themselves as an ecosystem. But what they're really doing is they're really just building all the products themselves. They're doing everything themselves in-house. They're owning all the IPs. They're owning all the the user base, the rights, everything, right? And then they're just going out there to acquire more and more users, trying to build their followers. And finally, when the bear market came, they were sort of left alone, and that typically an ecosystem doesn't work that way. So I don't want to go into the technicalities or the definition of an actual business ecosystem, but just a very simple search on Google or even on ChatGPT would tell you that a business ecosystem doesn't consist of just one business, and that's typically what happens with many Web3 projects. They tend to be sort of like a huge giant in the room, and they want to do everything themselves. So with that preamble, the answer to whether Salad will potentially have our own NFT marketplace within the end of the year, I'm not sure in terms of timeline. But that is certainly in our roadmap. It is in our plans. In fact, it is also on our white paper. Our plan is to launch an NFT marketplace in the foreseeable future. In terms of our roadmap, I believe we've listed that as a 2024 launch. But it's not just a simple launch. So right now we are already in discussions with a lot of other marketplaces. We're also in discussions with other technology providers who provide NFT marketplace technology in order to see if we could partner up in order to grow our actual ecosystem rather than simply building everything ourselves and trying to become the giant in the room, right? Because at the end of the day, the crypto space, the Web3 space is still very, very new. It's still very, very small. And I think that in order for the entire space to grow, we really need to find more collaborative opportunities. We really need to partner up with more projects, partner up with other projects in order to grow the entire pie. And the only way we will win this game, and the only way our followers, our users, our community members can make the most potential profit from being part of any of these projects is if the entire pie grows. There's really no point in just growing one project if the entire market is sort of failing. So that is our ethos. Our ethos is in collaboration. Our ethos is seeking new and mutually beneficial partnerships. So that's my very long answer. The short answer is yes. Launching an NFT marketplace is on our roadmap. It is in our white paper. So for those of you who don't know, just go to wp.salad.ventures. That's our white paper. If you look at the roadmap, you'll see we've got different phases listed there. And you'll see what we're planning in the short to long run.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Felix. And again, while we are actually on this main stage discussion with you, my good buddy, I do remember that during one of our previous Salad discussions, right, we actually had a question, and a very, very good question as well in regards to the plan for token listing and why we chose the Ethereum blockchain with the ERC20 token, all right? And I remember because I was having a bit of a laugh on the call, and I was even reaching out to Samantha, who was the only other colleague in the office at that time, I think. And then I was like trying to get her attention, like, do you remember what Felix said in regards to that the last time? And then we were both giggling because we remembered you bringing that up very specifically in a team meeting, right? And we were wondering whether you recall those specific points in regards to that specific plan for the Salad token, all right? Why we have decided to put it as an ERC20 token, because obviously many of our community members know that our main collection is on the BNB chain.
Yeah. So the main Salad token is we've decided to launch it on Ethereum because it's still the world's largest network, right? It has the most number of users in the world, and we want Salad to be accessible to everyone, to be accessible to as many people as possible. But of course, in today's day and age, tokens are launching on multiple networks anyway, so. It is in our plan, it is in our roadmap to, in the future, also launch Salad on other chains. So we're definitely looking at BNB chain, obviously, because clearly our NFT series has been topping the Binance chart for the longest time now, and we have a huge community of BNB users who are within our project. So yeah, the answer is we've decided to launch first on ERC on Ethereum because it has the most reach, it has the most users. But the plan is also to launch Salad token on BNB chain in the future.
Amazing stuff. And again, folks, we are very conscious of the time as well. So again, Felix, feel free to just interrupt me whenever, but I would take this opportunity just to highlight a couple of questions within the main stage chat channel. There is a request from Balance Beats in regards to whether can we verify the Salad NFT collection on OpenSea because it might be high risk. I would like to assure you that there is no risk involved, because usually the risk that is underlined by the platform is because the collection is not verified, and of course we have access to your NFTs, all right? But of course, folks, we have done everything in our building thus far to not only legitimize the project, but to stay very connected to you in regards to what we are building. So for right now, I believe that there is actually a trading volume mark for us to hit. And I'm sure that many of you know that despite the sheer amount of sales for our Salad Gem NFTs, we have not been able to hit this mark yet. But of course, we are confident that we might do so in the near future. All right. But for now, just rest assured that when you perform your secondary marketplace trading, it is to allow the access once more for the NFT collection, all right, to be tradable. And that is the only danger, is that, of course, if we abuse that access, all right? So I'm not sure whether Felix wants to add anything to that, but that is to my knowledge. And I can tell you that this has been happening for a long time already in regards to all the trading that has been happening on OpenSea, all the way since back December 2022, so well over half a year. And there have been absolutely no issues whatsoever. However, we will highlight that the only thing that you should indeed watch out for are the scam collections, because there is actually a very well put together scam account on the Polygon network on OpenSea, all right? And of course, I will actually take this opportunity to see whether I can pull up that screen share so that I can show you guys what exactly it is that I'm talking about. Anything to add here, Felix, especially in regards to like getting the verified check mark rather?
Yeah, I think I remember our team has been in touch with the OpenSea team to verify our collection for quite a while now. But I'm just I don't know. I think there's just too many collections that they're working with, so it's not the easiest team to work with, or perhaps we're not doing something right. But I believe trading volume is one of the criteria that they look at. And because our trading volume hasn't been extremely high or high enough by their standards, even though we have user numbers, we have really, really large interest. That's the number that OpenSea has picked, and there's not much we can do about that. At the same time, on the note of scam, I think it is I think, but it is very important for a community to obviously be vigilant at all times. It's not, even sometimes I almost get scammed, right? And then I would think, wait, is this too good to be true? If it is, I probably should just take 5 seconds to think about it before I click. And usually, that little extra step keeps me safe. So for sure, our community must already know that by now. So clearly, be very careful with links that you see, including those on our Discord server as well. So I recall one of our previous community managers had his account hacked, and thankfully, our inner circle members caught it and pointed it out to us, so we were able to rectify that situation very quickly. But yeah, even if a link appears from an admin account or a core team account on our Discord, I think it is common sense to sort of be careful with it. On that note, also, I think we have 120 people listening in right now, and we'll be sharing a recording of this as well. I think it is important for our community to also know that we have been attempting to use email to communicate with our friends in the Salad ecosystem. And what this means is, if you have joined our ecosystem either by minting some of our NFTs on Galaxy or signing up for an email list, our team would add you to an email mailing software that we use. It's just a basic one, just for us to be able to communicate directly with you. The reason why we have done this is because of an example is our Twitter. So we spent 2.5 years building up our Twitter account. It was close to 100,000 followers. We've had that Go Verified organization check mark, which means they verified our company, they verified our admin with IDs. It's like a KYC, right? And yet they still suspended our account, which means we were now unable to communicate with that 100,000 followers on Twitter, simply because Twitter decided to suspend the account, even though it could probably only be for a few days. But one thing that people cannot take away from us, or these centralized platforms can't take away from us, is email. Maybe because it is a very old technology, but email allows us to at least communicate with our users, with our followers. Absolutely. Even if the other platforms, even if something happens to the other platforms. So if you do receive an email from a Gabriel from Salad, you quite simply can check the email address that was used to send that email to you. So you could verify that on our verification page. It is salad.ventures/verify. So you simply need to put in that email address into our verification page, and if it is a legitimate email from the Salad team, it will be verified on that page, salad.ventures/verify. Maybe someone can help me post it on the chat. And if you want to further be more careful, what you can do is, if there's any link that is shared with you in an email communication from Gabriel at Salad, you can click on that link. You don't have to click anything else, but if you click on the link, all it does is really open a web page. And when you open that web page, there is always a URL, obviously. You should then verify that URL on the same verification page. Typically, every link that is that an email sends you to is either to a salad.ventures URL, or it sends you maybe to a Galaxy URL, which all of you should be quite familiar with already, galxe.com. So if it goes directly to a URL and you verify that URL on our verification center, which Cap is showing right now on this call, then it will be fine. That means it's verified. So yeah, just if you're concerned about anything, just obviously come back into Discord and check with the inner circle members, check with the Salad core team if that is legit.
Absolutely spot on. Thank you so much, Felix, for that. And again, folks, just to give you that reference in regards to what we have been discussing, the official verification center is on screen share. And we also have the links recently posted within the main stage chat channel. You can also find all the relevant links within official links here within the Discord server. All right. Again, we are very blessed to have a community that is always on high alert. And again, if you see any of those links, DMs, suspicious looking messages within the chat channels, you can absolutely ignore those and notify your own respective Salad Inner Circle Club member so that they can lay down the ban hammer. Just wanted to take this opportunity to highlight as well that we have awarded 3 of our distinguished members with the community moderator powers. And this is also in light of the recent attacks that have been happening within our server and their vigilance in making sure that we are all well informed and also the community members are safe, all right? So special shout out again to Pinkwater, Lee, and C4 who have been very active, especially again during this weekend where we saw a lot of those malicious attempts to try and squash those out. So they have been given the authority to ban, all right, those bad actors who come onto our space and attempt to perform malicious acts. You can always tag either of them, myself, or any of the core team members, all right? So primarily you want to tag me and Hui Yi as well, because we will be more involved in the management of the Discord. I think most of you have managed to meet Hui Yi during our recent Salad discussion last week. And of course, again, with Lee, C4, and Pinkwater, if you could just throw out a little emote so that the community can see you. I know Lee has already done so. Thank you so much for that, buddy. And Hui has also said hi within the main stage chat channel, just again to identify all the key members who will be helping us keep watch within the Salad Discord server. Yes.
Yeah, but one point that I saw, I was reading through the messages as well. Probably one of the very few points that I'll address about the token. So this is from Riza Khan, who is a Salad passport holder. Thank you for verifying yourself. The question is, so on which price token will be distributed on pre-sale or listed price for winner? I think this is pertaining to the token airdrop. The token airdrop will not be distributed based on price. It will be distributed based on number of tokens, because nobody distributes it based on price, right? It's always number of tokens, so it doesn't matter what that what price will be. Another thing also is about a pre-sale. So Salad doesn't have a pre-sale. We've had private fundraising done like 2 years ago. But there's no like public token pre-sale or anything planned. So
right.
The only way for you to sort of gain or get Salad tokens before our SEX listing is on is through this airdrop campaign. So we're doing a few different types of airdrop campaigns. Right now it's the main one that's ongoing, so everybody knows that you go to airdrop.salad.ventures, and that's sort of how you get points, and then by performing different qualifying actions, and then with those points you then get ranked according to either top 1%, top 3, top 5% or something, and then based on that the tokens will be allocated to the based on the position that you're in terms of number of tokens. But we'll be announcing another campaign that will give you guaranteed Salad tokens very, very soon. So that will be coming up quite soon. But we're not doing any pre-sale or any launch pads or anything. The plan for Salad and the main Salad token is to very directly list on a central exchange for a few reasons. I think the first, obviously, there are a few ways to sort of do token listing, right? The first, most typical way is to sort of launch it on a DEX, like a Uniswap or something. Or in the past, during the bull market, there were so many other price discovery or LBP platforms. So we're not planning to do that because again the liquidity there is thin, and it's for the same reasons why we are launching on ETH, right? So we can get more, we'll make it more accessible to more people. So that's hence our decision to do our token listing on a central exchange. And what I can share, if that's not something that we have already previously shared, is
alpha time.
The central exchange that we are looking to list on is one of the top 5 exchanges in the world. So that not just only proves that we have obviously built ourselves up to a certain standard in terms of project quality, in terms of team quality, in terms of community strength. but that also shows that we have been working extremely hard. We're constantly working hard to try and as much as we can over deliver to our community, because I think many people within our community were thinking that we're going to sort of list and launch on a DEX, and just like launch some kind of meme coin or something and let people trade. But that's not the intent. The intent is to obviously do it properly, go through proper KYCs ourselves, by pushing ourselves a bit harder, to get listed on the top five, one of the top five exchanges in the world. So this sort of gives us gives us more credibility, and it also again gives the token, makes the token more accessible to people around the world rather than only to DEX traders.
Absolutely. All right. Amazing stuff for the fam here today. Again, having the discussion with Felix in the house. Again, folks, if you have any questions to throw into the discussion, now is the time. We might be short in time in regards to Felix's appearance, but of course, as you all know, we usually have these discussions for up to an hour as we talk shop and of course discuss all the necessary details pertaining to all the developments that we have ongoing here at Salad as we march towards token listing. All right, I know that there was a little bit of discussion as well earlier on in regards to some of the Galaxy issues. I just want to highlight that some of those have been brought up already to the respective parties, especially when it comes to the verification for the visiting of the Salad Ventures website, amongst other issues. All right, so not to worry. If you have any of those, please keep them coming within the support ticket channels. You can just report those directly to me and I will raise those up to Galaxy immediately.
Yeah, bro, I was looking at the chat again and I saw, interestingly, Voodoo Child 8462 and Riza Khan discussing about, launching on on ERC20, and fees are high. Riza Khan was saying fees are huge on ERC20, and Voodoo Child says it's what we pay for security and reach. BSC is susceptible to scam. These are all good points, right? But most importantly, what's more important to us is reach. It's really reach. It's accessibility. I mean, I don't know why people are so concerned about cheaper fees for chains, especially if they're thinking of buying into a project. I think having cheaper fees make a lot of sense if you are a high frequency trader, right? Which means you make multiple trades every minute, buying and selling tokens. Typically, a lot of institutional hedge funds or a lot of public crypto funds or crypto funds trading public tokens do that, where they have systems and bots and scripts trading tokens. And for those, because they are making so many trades in such a short amount of time, clearly having cheaper gas fees makes huge importance, because these guys are trading for like very, very little profits, like 1% or 0.5% or something, because they enter a position and then they sell it immediately, almost immediately, like in a minute or two, just to make like 1% gain. But they do it tens of thousands of times each day automatically, so it makes sense for them to do that. And they need, in order for them to be more profitable, obviously they don't want to be paying that much gas in terms of fees. So that would make sense. If we were targeting high frequency traders, then clearly we would launch on a super cheap chain, like they were discussing in our chat, Polygon or BSC. But we're not looking for, we're not targeting. Salad isn't for these high frequency traders who's trading like small amounts. And clearly, as a project of our size and with a community of our size, we will attract the attention and the liquidity of high frequency traders, of whales, of larger institutions who want to trade the tokens of new projects like ours once we're listed on central exchanges. But I think for the rest of us whom we're not sort of doing high frequency trading, I think the matter of gas fees shouldn't really matter that much. I mean, if you're buying and then you're selling I don't know, like a week later or a month later or 2 months later, or you're not selling at all, then gas fees really shouldn't matter that much. If you're thinking of accumulating Salad tokens when we launched on the central exchange, then again, gas fees also shouldn't affect you that much, right? Because if you're trading on a central exchange, then you technically don't pay gas. I mean, you pay trading fees, but many central exchanges have fee rebates or fee promotions. So you end up not paying fees at all anyway. So I think in terms of being on BSC or on Polygon, simply because gas is lower than being on Ethereum, I think that point doesn't really apply to us right now.
Phenomenal. And again, just keep the hype going in the chat, fam. We're going to be trying to answer as many questions as we can within this discussion window. Again, we are on call with my fellow co-founder, Felix, and we are super grateful for his time today because we get to really digest a lot more of the tokenomics, the airdrop related questions in fuller detail as compared to more of the tutorial sessions that we seem to have on these discussions as we help some of the newer members understand our ecosystem a little bit better. I believe at this time, he is also taking the opportunity just to glance through the chat channel too to look out for any more particular questions that he would like to address. But of course, again, for those of you folks who are just hopping on and seeing Felix on the main stage for the first time, again, don't miss out on this opportunity to drop in those burning questions. I think that in regards to some of the other standard questions that I might see, including screenshots, I see one from MJ, buddy. I think I can go out and assume that is for the Club Salad Genesis Pass. I just want to put this out there again, guys, that there is absolutely no need to FOMO in regards to this collection. I think some of you might be confused about the fact that the NFT was available within your campaign, but of course the campaign has since ended. All right, I just want to highlight that this was minted out by a curated whitelist, and that was months ago, with the minting fee at 0.25 Ethereum, all right? Again, the primary utility for this particular NFT was to allow builders here within Singapore to connect at our Web3 networking sessions. That's right, we organized these events on a fortnightly basis. Back in the day, we have since reduced it to a monthly affair in line with all of our efforts towards token launch. But of course, this NFT would allow these builders to gain an invite to all of our events and of course have themselves enjoy free drinks as well. So that was clearly the main utility for this. But you know, as how we always do things here within Salad, we do not stop building on the rewards and of course the utilities amongst all of our different products. And this was no exception, all right, because we were able to allow collectors who invested in this early on to be amongst the first to get the Arcaden VIP Pass airdrop, and that allowed them to participate within the Magical Forge within our Galaxy campaign. All right, so there were other rewards with this particular NFT, and you can also expect more additions to the utility of this NFT in the future as well. In fact, we added it to our airdrop campaign with the 2x multiplier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that's something that we definitely launched a while ago, and the reason why we kept it at 200 was we were just curious within the core team who our top 200 fans were within the Salad community, and that was very, very quickly snapped up. So we thought, as part of our ethos at Salad, our focus is always on our holders. It's always on the people who have supported us first, and who are, and who still continue to support us. Again, back to the topic of community, right? I think a lot of crypto projects, the way I see how many other project leads are building, they like to grow their community numbers and get as many as possible in as short a time as possible, and effectively prioritize quantity over quality. The team at Salad is very different. We obviously want to grow as well because we need numbers in order to be able to expand what we are doing and in order to be able to spread the word. But at the same time, if we constantly just keep growing the numbers and keep bringing in new people into the community, bringing in new users into the community, then churn becomes very high. So one key aspect that I've noticed about our community versus many other Web3 projects in a similar space is that people in our community tend to stay, Obviously, there are people who leave, but people in our community usually stay for a much longer period of time than they do in other communities, especially those that try and just simply use airdrops to attract new people, and basically attracting airdrop farmers, right? So they're attracting very low level, low value, not low level, but very low value people into their communities. They're attracting obviously bot accounts into their communities as well. But we discussed this many times internally within our team that, whilst we want numbers to grow, because obviously numbers, bigger numbers and growing numbers always look good on a crypto, on a Web3 project. What's more important to us is our existing community. It's engaging with our existing people, and always starting with the first in first out methodology, meaning if you're first to support us, you get the first output from us, right? So the ones who supported us by purchasing our Genesis Pass last year, early last year, are the ones that we would focus the most on. And then, coming down that line, obviously everybody who has supported our Gem NFT series, to us, we consider you as our holders. And our focus has constantly been, how to reward you consistently, whilst you are contributing to our growth. Then following that, then clearly when we do our token launch, then our token holders will be given the exact same treatment. If you buy our token or you hold our token, our focus at our team is constantly how do we give you more utility? How do we make the token worth more? Or what can we do? I mean, like, we can't change the price, obviously, of a token once it's launched. But what we can do is we can strategize and we can constantly engage with you, our holders, whether you are our Genesis Pass holders or another Gem NFT holder or our Salad token holder. What we can do is constantly engage with you, get your ideas, get your feedback, and keep on focusing on making Salad better for you, rather than focusing on how do we go out there to get more people to come in to buy the stuff that we have to sell, because we've got nothing to sell. At the end of the day, our mission at Salad is obviously focused on X to earn. So earning is a very important aspect of what we do at Salad. Not earning for us, but earning for our users, earning for our community. But at the same time, on the other end of this, or the other side of the same coin, the earnings need to come from somewhere. So that earnings will be eventually reviewed over time, but we have plans to generate revenue from our activities and from our platforms and from the projects that we embark on. And all these revenues clearly will be fed back, will be reinvested back into our ecosystem. And clearly, like I said earlier, the focus in terms of rewards is always on our users first. It is not, if we had to choose when we generate revenues, and where would we invest these new revenues on? Would we invest it in our current community members, our current users, or would we invest it in growing the numbers and getting more people in? And we'll obviously have to do both in order for the project to grow, like I said. But our focus is definitely more skewed towards our existing holders and our existing users and community members. One thing that I saw very interesting in our main stage is people discussing the exchanges. So clearly that's one thing that we can't say. I'm sure you've all been through that before, and so stop asking us which exchange will be listed on. We can't say. And if we and if this accidentally leaks out, then it would obviously risk the listing, as we all know, because clearly it's a centralized exchange listing. There are agreements, there are NDAs in place. That's not something that we can review. So quite unfortunate. But what Zach ZAK said: give the community 5 options of exchanges, let the community vote, and guess what they think, where they think Salad will be listed. I wanted to touch on this note, right? So I believe, bro, we've recently launched this new channel called Salad Forum,
Yes,
right?
Salad Forums.
And Salad Forum is available to everybody on our Discord server, yes?
It is currently open to the gem collectors, but we will be building
Right.
out a few more posts before we extend the invitation to all within our community.
Cool. So I think this is something that we're testing to get community feedback on on sort of next steps and next moves, right? So whilst you voting on the exchange that Salad will be listed on will have zero effect on the outcome. It would be something quite. I mean, the whole concept of voting and the whole concept of getting community feedback in order to help us structure our future plans and help us plan for our future growth. That's something that we are experimenting with on our Discord. So for all of you, for any of you who has got access to the Salad forum, please do go and interact there as well. And we've also launched a new space on Snapshot, which is clearly a voting platform that we will be putting proposals on after the Salad token is live. So right now we have a grand total of 4 followers, I think, of our Snapshot because we've not shared that yet. But this is the first time that I
Let's
believe
go,
we're sharing
guys.
this link. There's nothing on it yet; it's completely blank. But if you like, please go follow us on Snapshot, so that when we launch our when we start launching proposals there. I think another 2 places that you can also follow us on is CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. So I'll let I've got like the CoinGecko link here. So we've listed our token information page on both CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko as well. I'm just throwing the link in the chat window. So these 2 links are there as well. So if you can, just go add us to your watch list, so you would know when the token is live, and obviously you'll be able to see more information there on these two platforms. So just so you know, listing on CoinMarketCap and listing on CoinGecko is also not something that's easy to do. It took us quite a while to get listed on these 2 platforms as well, because they clearly don't want to be listing like scam coins and all that kind of rubbish, right? So took us a while. That's why we couldn't announce this sooner. But we're listed on these 2 places, CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. Just search for Salad, or SALD, which is the token symbol that we've picked. And and I see John. Thanks very much for joining the Snapshot for Salad Ventures. And I'd like to take this opportunity also to answer a question that John asked earlier.
Good question. Good question.
Yes. So he asked, what plans do you have to tackle private investors who had 1-year locking? So you will see this on our white paper as well, wp.salad.ventures. I don't know if we can pin this somewhere, but I mean, it's in our official links channel anyway. So you'll see there that we've had obviously private investors who's very kindly helped us with our initial building of Salad.
Let me share that as well.
And correct. It's right there. It's on tokenomics, and you scroll down, you'd see the unlock and the vesting. So for the private investors, the question that John asked was, what plans do we have to tackle these private investors who's had 1-year lockup? So the thing is, they're locked up for a year after token listing, and then after that, they're vested monthly over a period of 1 year. This is completely transparent, completely open to everybody who has obviously access to our white paper, which is everyone. So the answer there is we don't plan to tackle these private investors. If you look at the investors who have invested with Salad 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago during the bull, and who's been through thick and thin with us throughout the entire bear market, the investors that we have on our cap table are very long-term investors, and they're very serious investors as well. We're not talking about degen investors. We're not talking about VC funds run by kids. When we were doing our fundraise 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, we obviously during the bull market. So this is a little bit of sharing with the community in case they don't know. We've had to turn away a lot of potential investors or potential investment into our token sale during those days, because we didn't want to just take anybody's money. it was very difficult because it was obviously very tempting for us to launch, to sell more and to raise more at that time. But as you can see from our from our tokenomics, we've sold very very little of our tokens compared to many other projects who sold easily at least 50%, if not more, of their project tokens to private investors. We haven't done that. That's one. So it's not like a huge amount of our tokens are owned by private investors. And even if those tokens were owned by private investors, so that's about 20% of our tokens, these are investors who are known to stick with and build super, super large projects. So I'm not sure if the community is familiar with an investor like Multicoin Capital, but I'm sure they would have heard of this protocol called Solana. And Solana was was a startup like us. Solana was nothing when they first started, and investors like Multicoin, they're obviously not the only one, but investors like Multicoin have supported Solana through thick and thin. And Solana's been through loads of challenges during their days, and they still go through many of the technical challenges right now. But they constantly have these very big investors who are very hands-on with helping them grow the project, support the project, help them with problems, connect them with new people. So these investors on our cap table, which you can see on our white paper, are the ones who are constantly doing this and who are constantly supporting their portfolio companies. Even the angels in our on our cap table are not nobodies. So just for those with links, obviously, if you click on them, it'll bring you to the information. Like if you click on Alan Howard, for example, Alan Howard takes them to a Forbes link, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So Alan Howard is the founder of Brevin Howard Asset Management, which is probably one of the largest hedge funds in the UK or even in Europe. And Brevin Howard has started this new last year. It was new last year. Arm called BH Digital or Brevin Howard Digital, which has invested with Salad. So Alan invested, BH invested as well.
Nice.
And that's on top of like Multicoin, right? And then if we click on Santiago, it should take you to his Twitter. Oh, you're not logged in. Yeah, okay. So never mind.
Anticlimactic.
They can go click on it. That's fine. Yeah, but Santi is a huge advocate of the Web3 space, and he has a pure reputation in the space, which is very very rare in this space, especially if you've been around long enough. If you click on say Jack Herrick, Jack Herrick is the founder of this site called WikiHow. So WikiHow is sort of like a site that it's similar to Wikipedia. You can probably click on that, but he is a Silicon Valley based venture capitalist who is super Web 2. It is as Web 2 as it goes. But WikiHow.com would teach you how do you fix a light bulb or something. So super OG in that space. So Jack Herrick is the founder of this space. The site doesn't look sexy or anything, but these guys know how to build proper projects. They know how to build proper businesses. They know how to build users, and these are the people that have invested with us, right? So I can go on and on and on, but literally just please visit our white paper and go look at our private investors list, and you'll see the people on our cap table are not the degen, pump and dump type of investors. So we don't have to tackle these private investors. We've been working with them ever since the day they've invested. So the problem with a lot of projects when they face dumping from their private investors is they don't communicate with their investors. And think about this, right? If you invest in something and the people in a company, for example, forget about Web3 project or token, right? And the team doesn't communicate with you. The team doesn't get onto calls with you or send you messages or meet up with you at events regularly. They don't build this relationship with you. Then clearly, at the very first chance of being able to dump these investments or dump these tokens, you would do so. Everybody would do so. I would do that. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's in the plans of the core team. I don't know what's in their minds. Literally out dump. But if you if I knew what the team was doing, what they are planning behind the scenes, because I'm a private investor, right? So obviously I'm privy to more information, then the chances of me dumping on that project is extremely, extremely low. Investors like these would invest in multiple different projects. They invest in thousands of projects, not hundreds. So why should they, if they ever wanted to cash out, they would obviously first dump the projects that don't communicate with them. But if you follow us on our Twitter, well, you can't do that now because the account is suspended for now. But follow us on our Medium, follow us on my private Substack, or well, I say private because I write all those posts. If you go to read.felixsim.com, go sign up for that Substack as well. It's a different type of content that I share there. These content is written by me. So type in your email, subscribe to that Substack, and when you do so, if you click the X on the top right, you'll see the articles. So if you don't want to subscribe, you can click on the X and you'll see these. Yeah. So right. So these, like, when our account got suspended, I wrote a post. I write regular updates that are not shared, typically not shared openly on our Twitter or even on our Discord. And these updates that I write go into a lot of information. So this is public. The Substack that I have, read.felixsim.com, is public information. And I already communicate so much, so often with the public. So imagine what and how often I am communicating with our private investors. Clearly a lot more. So with this level of communication, with this frequency of communicating with our private investors, there's no guarantee that they would not be selling our tokens. Everybody needs to cash out, obviously. No one's going to invest forever. Even Warren Buffett doesn't invest forever, right? But this lowers the odds of them cashing out too early, or too often, or too much. And in fact, many of our investors are also sort of in discussions with us with regard to potentially topping up on their private investments. But like I said earlier, no matter how good they are, the intent is not for Salad to be privately owned by these investors. The intent is for Salad to clearly be a decentralized project, which means we need to leave enough tokens for our community, for our ecosystem. So I think one of the comments also talked about a foundation. Belloletti asked when start Airdrop Foundation. If you look at our tokenomics again, we have plans for an ecosystem fund, which will be used to invest back into the ecosystem and into other projects that are started within our ecosystem as well. So, there are all these plans that's happening. So as long as we continue to communicate these plans, not only to our private investors, but also to our community and to the public, I think that's as much as we can do to sort of decrease the potential for a pump and dump.
Tremendous stuff. My goodness. Look at that, guys. The hour has absolutely flown by. And I think that all of us here can agree that we got a ton of value, again, from having Felix join us for this Salad discussion, especially on these specific topics, and of course his insights in regards to getting us this far, getting us the runway that we need to build. I think this truly was such an amazing opportunity for a lot of our community members to connect with you, buddy, and of course be able to hear from you personally in regards to all the plans that we have. You got yourself a fan in the main stage chat channel as well, guest son. They're clearly very delighted to have finally met you in person, or rather at least on this virtual platform, sending you some love once more there in the main stage chat
going
channel.
through the chat. I got to run in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to quickly scroll through the chat to see if I can take any more questions that probably addressed to me more. Okay, so Voodoo Chow was talking about listing on CMC and CG are a big deal. Have Endeavor, he wants to see the Salad pages verified on both platforms. I actually don't think that you can verify yourselves on those two platforms, because we didn't list ourselves. We had to apply, and then there was an application team that got in touch with us. And we had to submit a lot of information, yada yada yada, and we had to go through an entire due process before they listed us. So we don't list ourselves on these two platforms. We were listed by the team, so there's no need to get ourselves verified on those. and then have Salad token verified on Etherscan. Yeah, we're working on that. The Etherscan team is extremely manual. For those of you who don't know, I believe a lot of the people on the on Team Etherscan are volunteers.
Oh,
So yeah, we're literally communicating via email. There's no Telegram, nothing. It's just email.
wow.
There's a long queue. So as with all good things, it comes with patience. So unfortunately, that's something that we also have to wait. But rest assured, we are definitely doing all we can to expedite that. But there's nothing more than we can do that we have already done. Riza Khan, thanks for being very active on our chat. Riza mentioned, I think listing a token in bull market is better option than listing in bear market. Well, Riza, I beg to differ. I think listing in listing in a bull market or a bear market is that's really well the upside and the downside is quite similar. And I'll explain to you why. Because obviously, when you would say that listing in a bull market means a rising tide raises all boats, and everything would go up, and that's not true. During the bull market, there were so many pump and dumps, and that's and I mean, just scroll back on crypto Twitter, right, and you'll see during a bull market, there's a lot more scams during bull markets as well. So that prevents people from sort of investing in proper projects, in quality projects, and there's also a lot more competition during a bull market because everybody will be thinking the same thing, right? Every project would want to list during a bull market because a rising tide raises all boats, or a rising market raises all tokens. So there'll be a huge competition. There'll be a lot of noise, and it'll be very, very difficult to get our message through the noise. So that's a downside of listing in a bull market. The only upside in listing in a bull market is, hopefully as ETH and Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up as well. But the same happens in a bear market, right? Obviously, in a bear, or right now, I don't think we're in a bear market anymore. I think we're in a sideways market, and typically a sideways market precedes the next bull run. So what we had to think about and consider very, very, very clearly within the core team at Salad is, when do we start this listing process? And we can obviously wait for the next bull run to happen, and then we'll have to compete with all the other projects to get listed on. So many people don't know the listing process on a central exchange, especially one that is top 5 in the world. It is extremely difficult. It is super, super difficult because, as we all know, exchange are being scrutinized by regulators all over the world now. So exchanges are being super careful with the types of projects, or with the projects specifically that they list. And the process of even firstly knowing who to talk to within the exchange is already almost unreachable and almost impossible to achieve, especially if it's a top 5 exchange. If it is just some regular exchange, then you'd have listing managers just coming to you, asking you for listing fees and listing your token on their exchange. But top 5 exchange don't do that. Obviously, there are fees involved as well. And these fees are huge. But despite these large fees, they have to be very careful with who they list. Right?
No doubt.
But during a bull market, even these large exchanges will have a long queue of projects waiting to list. So it'll be months or sometimes over a year before we can get a listing slot on these exchanges during a bull run. So there are pros and cons, but during a flat market like what we are in right now, hopefully being a precedent to the next bull run, it is relatively easier for us to get our message across. It is easier for us to tell the world what we are doing, what we are building, what our mission actually is. It is to offer more earning opportunities to more people in the space, not just an opportunity for people with money, for rich people to earn more money, to farm more airdrops. And Salad is not a pay to win game, right? Salad is it is here to make an impact, a positive impact on as many people's lives as possible, because we believe that blockchain
Amen.
is here to stay. Blockchain is here to stay, and blockchain will be implemented, will be integrated with every single industry in the world. And with that, there will come loads of earning opportunities. And then why should only the richest of the rich get to benefit from these new technologies and these new opportunities? There are ways where even if you were not born with a lot of money or born into a super rich family, there are ways for you to be able to benefit from this new industrial revolution, and that's what Salad is here to do. And we do so by also helping our ecosystem partners grow, which is why for these NFTs that are on Galaxy, we ask you, our users, our community, to go and interact and to go and engage with our partner projects, because there are good projects that we have been curating for the longest time. And just so you know, whenever we announce a partnership with a new project, these partnerships are not just simply like handshake agreements and with no plans in the future. We like the process for a project to join the Salad ecosystem as an ecosystem partner is also quite a tedious one, both for the project and for ourselves. We get on multiple calls after communicating and discussing with them on Telegram. So it's not just Telegram and then we create a Twitter post and we share it out. We get on Telegram, our partnerships team then get onto a call with these projects, and then we discuss potential ways of working together and all that. And if everything fits, then we announce a partnership. Then we help them grow their community, help them improve their engagement numbers. It's a very, very tedious process, but we're doing all that because we want to make sure that not only do we bring the best projects into our ecosystem, we also want to eventually have a very large list of projects, a very large group of projects that we can collaborate with for Salad version 2. Again, what I said very early, almost an hour and a half ago now, on this AMA, is that we don't want to build everything ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if, so you think like there's 3.6 million mints of our gem NFTs now. I don't know how many unique wallets, like a few 100,000 unique wallets for our NFTs. But that's us reaching to like 150, 200,000 people, right? Whom we can communicate with both on email, Twitter, Telegram, Discord. But if we expand our reach to the network of our ecosystem partners, that gives us a reach of over 6 million users. The 6 million users. So imagine what we can do with our NFTs. Imagine what we can do with
Precisely
our token when we launch it. If if everything is just within ourselves, within our own ecosystem, within our own project, then we reach like, I don't know, let's say 250,000 users, right? But if we expand it through our partners network, that brings us to 6 million people. So imagine the demand that will cause, imagine the utility that can give to our token and to our NFTs when that happens. So, that is super, super important to us, continuing to build our ecosystem partners with very good projects. And that's one thing that we can potentially, and we will potentially vote on within the Salad forum. We could test that, right? Like, which projects should we bring into our
absolutely
ecosystem next? Yeah, I'm just gonna scroll
absolutely.
through while you share whatever you need to share, bro. Just gonna scroll through very quickly.
Hey, no worries, man. Just wanted to highlight again, guys, that today's session will be published on YouTube. Okay, so don't worry if you find yourself missing out on most of the content. Again, with our co-founder Felix here, again, we were able to touch on so many topics that we have not done before at the Salad discussions. I think it has given a whole new level of understanding to many of our new users, especially for those that have not had the opportunity to connect with Felix. So that is absolutely phenomenal on that note. But again, we will have the full recording on YouTube within days. All right. I'm hoping to get it up as early as tomorrow. What we'll be looking to do as well is to break down the transcription. I just wanted to highlight to our SICC members that for our previous episodes, right, that hasn't been done up to standard. So what we want to do is to sort of break it down into like a question and answer format, sort of like a AMA recap of sorts, all right, within our SALDiscussions. And then from there, I think it's going to be a lot easier for our different community managers to translate into your native tongue, all right? So whether it is Vietnamese, Korean, Russian, Chinese, etc. I know that one of our dear Chinese SICC members actually went ahead to transcribe the first 2 episodes, I think. Yeah, we haven't gone about sharing those yet, but I think we want to whittle down those into a more bite-sized format for everybody, so do look out for that. We'll just see whether we have anything else to wrap up. I know Felix might be looking for a question or two. I saw one really cute one from Gonzalez. He wants to know how old are we? My goodness, are we prepared to answer that, sir?
Yeah, I'm just going through. Well, thanks, John, for subscribing. John.db24 for subscribing to my Substack. It's read.felixsim.com. I won't be answering any technical problems like a can't claim loot box. I think those questions can be answered in.
Leave those to me, buddy. Leave those to me.
Yeah. So Guns and Roses, I think, was that?
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that's hilarious, dude. Yeah, we're in our late 30s. Turning 40. I'm turning 40 soon, actually. And so,
yes, sir.
so gonna hit the big 40 soon. But our team is about this age group. We've done lots of things before. You can see our profile as well in our on the white paper. So scrolling down, John has shared his subscription. Thanks, John, again. John says bear market gives the actual strength to the ecosystem to rise in bull market. Absolutely right. Someone's asking for Rainbow Jam, 6 million users. That is an impressive number of users to target. Voodoo Chow, very, very active. Thanks very much. Theory Griffin, thanks for sharing my GIF. Guns N' Roses. Again, what do you mean people with a small budget can make money? Of course, proportionately less than those investing more. Doesn't mean that regardless of the money you have, you can participate in investing in the SALD token. Well, the answer is yes. No matter how much money you have, you can invest or you can buy the SALD if you want to. No one's going to stop you, but we're not forcing you to do that either. But as you can see, I think there were a few case studies in the recent past where there were people who, during the low gas days, were able to mint a lot of the NFTs that we are offering for free, or even find a way to change the RPCs to get cheaper gas fees. I think some people in our China community has found a way to do that, to mint at lower gas fees, and managed to turn a lot of those NFTs into profits. So, and technically they didn't spend any money because of the super low gas fees and the fact that they were able to sell those NFTs. So that's a very simple way of explaining it. But our goal is, regardless of the money that you have, if you are even willing to dedicate some time to help our community grow, to help our project grow, and also to contribute back to our project, even if you had no money, the goal is for us to create ways that enable you to earn within our project, within our ecosystem. So that's the mission. It's obviously not the easiest thing to do, but that's what we want to do, because I think that it's a very big challenge, but it's also a challenge worth taking on. So John says also, today's discussion is amazing. Looking forward to more of these. Thanks, John. I get the hint. I will hop on more often. I get a hint. Is it true that minting more crates? Don't know. For myself, I'll leave that now. Yeah, okay. I think that's all. That's really all the questions that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's. My goodness, I thought I was.
You were on fire, buddy. My goodness, it's like you were so kind to the. Again, I'm sure we were all super grateful, and we were just highlighting that we might not have the full session today, but again, the community is absolutely grateful for all the valuable input that you have put in today at this discussion. So again, I think it's a new record, by the way, guys. We have definitely crossed over a huge milestone today. So my goodness, any words as we wrap up today, Felix? My goodness, what a session!
Yeah, no. obviously this is the first this is our first Discord AMA. So I've joined Twitter Spaces before, hosted
Yeah.
by many other projects, but this
Yeah.
is the first time that I'm actually hopping on with you, buddy, on our own Discord to sort of communicate and engage with our community on our own server. And honestly, I'm blown away. It's there's so many people who's interested
You're
in
buzzing.
helping out, yeah, and in contributing. And it's very encouraging, obviously, to see this. This is our reward. I know that, and I read obviously a lot of the chat that goes on our Discord server, and I see occasionally. I think most people on our server are here for the community. They are here for the future of our project, and at the same time, I also see that there are a few, very, very few, but there are still some people on our servers who are simply airdrop hunters and who are here only for the potential free tokens. And you're welcome as well, of course, to join our community and join our server.
Absolutely.
But I like to really give a huge shout out, a huge appreciation to firstly our inner circle members from all parts of the world. I really thank you and appreciate you for spending your time, really, for spending your time to help moderate our server, to help keep our community clean, to help encourage everyone to find ways to help the project grow for the benefit of everybody within this ecosystem, not just our users, not just our community members, but also our projects, our partner projects. To address the minority, the very, very small minority, the very, very minor number of airdrop hunters who are here simply for free tokens to perform these QAs, to mine it, to get it dropped free or something, and then to dump these tokens. You're welcome here, and I welcome you to actually stay. I welcome you to stay, to continue exploring our community, continue following what we're doing, because I believe that whilst you may be attracted to our server, to our project from by the airdrop announcements, and you may have just started your entry into the seller ecosystem by being an airdrop hunter and just hoping to be able to farm some free tokens to dump. I encourage you to stay. I encourage you to stay to engage with the rest of our community members who have been with us for quite a while, and to contribute also to our future growth, and let us know what we can do to change your mind. What can we do to change your mind from just being an airdrop hunter who's stumbled upon our server to get free tokens in order to dump the moment we list on an exchange, especially one of the top 5 exchanges in the world? What can we do to change your mind? What can we do to convince you that we're not just like any other projects? We're not just like we're not a pump and dump project. Stay on the server and let us know what we can do more for you in order to change your mind, so that you can join the majority of our community in making this a better place, making this a more beneficial place for everybody, not just the users, but also for our ecosystem partners. And with that, I really need to go, bro. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna.
A pleasure.
Thanks, John. John DB24. I'm gonna follow you on Twitter.
Show some love to Felix, everybody. Thank you again so much for your time, buddy. My goodness, what a session it has been. Let's not hold you back any longer. Thank you so much. I'll just do some housekeeping to wrap up to the fam. Thanks again for hopping on to today's SALDiscussion. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, bro. See you guys. See you, everyone. Bye.
Wow, amazing stuff, guys. That was phenomenal. I honestly, we were not sure how long we could have Felix for because of the fact that he had another appointment. But my goodness, it has been an hour and 20 minutes has flown by. And I think you guys got a ton of value today. I mean, of course, not dismissing all the efforts that we've made in the other AMAs, but I think a lot of that has been more to the technical side. I think today was such a blessing because we get to hear a lot from his perspective, especially since he had a very heavy part to play in the whole development of the fundraising and seed rounds, etc., and how that leads to the vision and the tokenomics, etc. So I think that was a huge scope that we covered today. And just to wrap up here, the different topics that we'll get to discuss more will get opened up on the Salad Forum channels. So do look out for those when we publish that and provide the access to the entire community. Again, when it comes to issues on Galaxy, feel free to open up a support ticket so that I can help you personally, especially if there are any credentials that are wonky, etc. But I think we managed to cover the gist of the entire discussion today. Again, if you need to ask any further questions, you can pop those into general or even open up a support ticket or approach any of the Salad Inner Circle Club members or even the community moderators, the newly crowned community moderators in the form of Lee, C4, and also the Pink Water. All right. So with that, it's Captain Aqua here wrapping up another Salad discussion. Don't forget, this recording will go on YouTube, all right, together with an AMA recap as well. So look out for that. Let's look forward to big news in 1 week. And Captain Aqua here to remind you, as always, to stay calm, keep building. 3 more AMAs with other partners this week as well. So look out for those. And we will see you for the next Salad discussion. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye for now. And keep building. Ta-ta.